Hello. Welcome to Healthy by Choice, the podcast that's here to ignite your belief in what's truly possible for your health and well-being. Hi, I'm Dr. Kerry, and what lights me up is empowering others. My mission has always been to inspire you to take your health seriously and give you the tools to understand your body on a deeper, more meaningful level. In each episode, we'll explore the healing power of nature, the role of real food as medicine, and how intentional movement can restore balance to your body and mind. So whether you're on a journey of prevention, recovery, or simply seeking more vitality, this podcast is your reminder. You hold the power to heal. Thanks so much for joining me. Hi, friends. Welcome back. Happy 2026. We had an unplanned break last week. Ironically, after doing a podcast on immunity, I got myself good and sick. And so here we are, 1 week later. Welcome. You know what? Before we go rushing into the new year, I really do want to take some time and think about, reflecting, acknowledging what was 2025. Often I will actually, when I journal, some of my journaling prompts, and it's very much a business coaching thing, is, what are things that I would like to stop doing? What are things that I would like to keep doing? And then what are things that I would like to start doing? And so those are things for journal prompting, et cetera, that I think about in my own life. And before we go into 2026, which it is 2026, I just want to remember highlights from last year. And I wonder, how will you remember 2025? What do you want to be certain that you memorialize? I mean, obviously, if you had any big events, any births or deaths, weddings, any of those big life changes, those tend to be the most memorable. And also, did you have moments, other than the events? What do you want to remember? What moments? Did you yourself have any achievements? What can you be proud of from last year? And that can be, completing any projects, maybe ones that you had been putting off, and maybe just ones that you're happy that you did. So don't let the time go without acknowledging yourself. And that can be, any good books or movies or shows that you saw that you want to remember you treated yourself to. And what other opportunities came in 2025? Whether they were expected or unexpected, opportunities are often things that are forks in the road, right? We could have zigged when we zagged. And it's really fun and sometimes important to memorialize those and share, whether you write it down, whether you share with other people, or just, meditate on it. Think about it. I'm curious, what are the best choices you feel you made last year? And that could be, contributions, large or small, to your own life or to the community at large. But what contributions did you make to someone else's life, as an example? And then, were there any blocks, or are there any blocks in the way of your happiness or in the way of you moving forward on any of your goals that were present last year that you can remove coming into the new year? That's a really good thing to contemplate, because oftentimes we are the only ones who can make those decisions for ourselves. Anything you thought was really important or really needed attending to, and sometimes these are obvious, sometimes they're not, sometimes they're a distraction, but what did you think was really important? And now in hindsight, you recognize, you know what? It wasn't all that I thought it was. It wasn't as important or didn't have the weight that you thought it did. How did you invest in your own happiness last year? What were some favorite activities? What were some favorite conversations? That's a favorite for me. What were your happiest and funniest moments of the past year? Funny counts. I like to remember times when there were good laughter, belly laughs, probably one of my most favorite activities. And then, as we're going into this new year, knowing that the calendar has changed to 2026, ask yourself, how do you want to show up? How do you want to show up for yourself above all else? How do you want to show up for your family? How do you want to show up at work? And then what about your community? Great questions. What are you keeping as your favorite things, whether it's a material thing or behavior, whatever, for yourself? What are, those favorite friends and those favorite people that you want to keep around? What about your favorite habits? What about your quirks? All these things about you. What are you keeping? What are your favorites? How about list the ways you will invest in your physical body along with your mind and soul? This is things for you, by you. And sometimes it requires a little more meditation or a little journaling, and sometimes you have an answer right away. Sometimes you know darn well what would better serve you physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Do you need to make a list of people you want to be sure that you see between now and the end of the year? And then, of course, be sure to call and make that schedule happen. These things, they get away from us, as you know. Same thing with experiences. Are there any experiences that require a reservation or that you have questions that need to be answered between now and the time that happens? For me, as an example, I have to have a dog sitter and I have to block out my work calendar. So I have to be able to do those things in order to make bigger things happen. In 2026, things you will say no to this year, and then maybe going forward, what are you done with? And then things that you will say yes to. What are you adding that maybe you'll keep? How will you invest in yourself? What do you need in order to do that? Whatever those investments are. Is there some outside support that is required? Or that would actually just be more funner, as I like to say? Do you have a list of things you are ready to get rid of? Like no more done? Whether it's things, stuff, or behaviors or habits. So, things in your surrounding, things in the house, or things inside of your heart. What needs to go? What needs to be done? What about if you want to reach those goals, your 5-year and your 10-year goals, and you truly want to reach them, how can you prepare for those goals now? This is a really good one. And again, journal prompting, some meditating, maybe question asking and getting some answers. But really, if those goals are achievable, what needs to happen? How will you treat yourself this year? And I mean, treat yourself and also be to yourself. Like, are there celebrations that you're looking forward to? Are there things that you can do kindly for yourself? What experiences do you want to say yes to? And these are things that you can make a list of. These are things that you can ask other people. Boy, is social media good for this. Looking at what other people are doing and how they're using your time and saying, yeah, I want that. I want to make sure that I have that in my life too. And if so, start Googling Figure out what you need to do to share in that experience, whether it's an enrichment or if it's, I don't know, because I don't know what you want to do. But I know for me, I often it will require traveling, and it will require figuring out how to get there and where to stay, and then reading blogs and creating a 12-week plan and, eating plan, supplementing plan, sleeping, low stress, all of it, in addition to dog sitting and blocking the calendar, all the stuff required. So here's how I look at this. If you and I meet back here in 1 year, right? So it's a year from now. What would you like to have happen? What will need to have happened to bring you the most joy? Or what has to happen in order for you to accomplish some of these things? And what would make you the most proud? If you know that in a year from now you want to feel that, what has to happen? So friends, give yourself this opportunity. Make it happen. Allow yourself to feel that feeling, right? So close your eyes, really feel the accomplishment. Feel it in your body, in your physiology, and then recognize what will have to happen. Do you have to create a list? Do you have to call people? Do you have to research? Whatever it all entails. And then chunk that down. Right now we have 12 months until the end of next year. So in order to have a positive, happy, joyful, prideful year, it's possible, I can tell you. I had a fantastic 2025 because I made it happen, and it was certainly my choice. And within a year's time, my life is almost unrecognizable, mostly because I decided to put myself first above all else in a way that was bigger than I've ever done before. And as you know, at the beginning of 2025, I asked myself, what makes me happy? And I didn't accept I don't know as an answer. I just kept saying, I know when I'm happy. When are those moments when I feel my best? And for me, that was stick stretching and being in the presence of Dr. Arthur Fagenholtz and being on the beach in Santa Cruz and doing stick stretching. So I went every time it was offered, and it wasn't easy, right? I had to block out my calendar. I had to find a dog sitter. I had to, pay, et cetera, et cetera. And not only did I invest in myself, and never could I have imagined how much better I would feel, but also each time I said yes to myself, it was exponential. Right? It was not incremental. It was exponential. The way that my self-love, my self-worth, my flexibility of spirit and heart has grown. And I really wish I could give this gift to the world. I wish I could share with the world what it is like to know that I'm falling in love with myself and that only I can do that. And only I have the power to say yes or to say no. And certainly it's an inside job. Certainly each one of us has to figure this out for ourselves. It's certainly by design, right? That it's our own resource. And it's our own resource. We all have everything we need. So I leave you with that. Thank you again for spending your time with me. I truly, truly appreciate you. And I love you, and I look forward to next time. And again, my apologies about last week. I hope you had a fantastic transition from 2025 to 2026. And I hope, like me, you're looking to even better double down, quadruple the greatness of what's possible in your life. I love you.